To our main topic, Power Rangers, Once and Always, an Exit Survey.
It's morphin' time!
All right, we could play that a little bit
It's
more.
morphin' time! It's morphin' time! It's morphin' time!
All right, that's enough of it. Now, Nick, hit us with a synopsis of Power Rangers, Once and Always.
The Rangers come face to face with a familiar threat from the past. In the midst of a global crisis, they are called on once again to be the heroes the world needs.
Yes, now this is going to be a little bit of a confusing cast and crew, so try to hang with me here. This is directed by Charlie Haskell, starring Walter Jones as Zach Taylor, the original Black Ranger, David Yost as Billy Cranston, which I found that very interesting. I never knew his last name was Cranston. I thought there was an interesting similarity in the remake that they did kind of recently with the Power Rangers movie. They had Bryan Cranston playing Zordon.
Oh,
I thought that was a little interesting there.
Yeah.
That's just kind of, I don't know, there's some shared universe going on, but maybe. So Billy Cranston, also known as the Blue Ranger. Yeah,
that's
maybe.
That's how Zordon became blue.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. We have Steve Cardenas as Rocky DeSantos as Red Ranger 2, I believe. We have Catherine Sunderland as Kat, as the Pink Ranger 2. We have newcomer Charlie Kirch as Min Kwan. And she's the newest Yellow Ranger. We have Karen Ashley, who plays Aisha Campbell, who is Yellow Ranger 2, I believe. Johnny Young Bosch, who plays Adam Park, and who's the Black Ranger 2. And then we have Richard Stephen Horvitz, who does the voice of Alpha 9. And then we have Barbara Goodson, who plays Robo Rita Repulsa. And then we have some archive footage of Jason David Frank, Amy Jo Johnson, Machiko Soga, who was the original Rita, who I did not know was of Asian descent. Never dawned on me until I recently. I just thought she was American. So I had no idea. Austin St. John, who was the original Red Ranger, Jason, and then Toy Trang, I think I'm pronouncing that one right, as the original Yellow Ranger.
Trini, yeah. This is so a reminder for everybody who hasn't seen it. This will there will be spoilers in this throughout. But critics' reception 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, 92-90 split on Rotten Tomatoes, and did not see that coming.
Very high.
And then especially on one side, I was surprised by. But and then a 61% on Metacritic. We do not have the Google numbers, but 61% on Metacritic. Well, not one we cite typically. Mac and Goo does use a lot, though, and it seems like that is a pretty high score.
It felt high. Yeah, I don't fully understand Metacritic, but yeah, that seemed like it was a decent score pulling it from. But there wasn't, again, where this wasn't a in theaters type of movie, or didn't really have a whole lot of fanfare. It's a bit of a niche movie here. Not a lot of people are reviewing it, but I wonder, because you said a little surprising from one of the sides on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm assuming you mean the critics score.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, I understand, like, the audience score, I am still surprised by it as we get into our score and tweet length review, but I'm really surprised by the critic score. Would you like to go first?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I wonder, because we just did Super Mario Brothers movie a couple weeks ago, right? And there was a pretty stark difference between the audience and critic score there. And it's like, where are the Venn diagram of people who saw Super Mario Brothers and didn't like it, and then also saw this new Power Rangers movie and liked that?
I will say, before you get into your score, looking at Rotten Tomatoes, there's only 13 critic reviews.
Okay. All right. So, all right. That's kind of fair then. Yeah. So it's a small Venn diagram then.
Yes. So that could very well be why there's only one negative review looking at the whole list. But
all right. That's a good poll then. 12 out of 13, most people would take that if you're
USA
talking.
Today gave it a fresh. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Sorry for cutting you off.
That's Gannett, that's Gannett Papers there. So that tells you the state of the industry there. So score and tweet length review, though. So I will not be giving this a certified fresh. In fact, this might be one of the worst scores I've given in recent memory. 50 out of 100. This is pure crap, Nick. I came in thinking this would be some campy nostalgia that would maybe poke fun at the cheesy aspects of the show, kind of have like a meta feel to it, but it didn't. It never reached that point. It was just bad. This may ruin the Power Rangers for me because I haven't spent too much time going back and watching like the original stuff that I grew up with. So this was tough for me and young Wes to deal with. But Billy, Zach, and Ming, I think were just very tough to watch throughout this. And as the three main characters who you spend the most time with, that I had a tough time reconciling, going through and watching this despite a 55-minute runtime.
I think if I had not gone back and watched the original show, like some of it a few years back, I would probably be on at the same exact score as you. I am higher than Wes, a little bit higher, 65 out of 100. So we're not in the same neighborhood, probably not the same town. Maybe the same state though.
But we're voting the same, though. We're voting the same way.
You vote the same way and in the same county for sure.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, it was just like the original show. I really did think that. At the same time, the original show does not age well from a quality standpoint. This is a good time to remind people. If anyone wants to spend time with these characters, you still feel fondly about them. I still do after watching this. It does not matter. Then I recommend you go and read the comics put out by Boom Studios, written by Kyle Higgins, Ryan Parrott, Matt Groom, Melissa Flores is the current writer. Awesome stuff. Like you get the characters that you love, and the art is really cool. It very much, it's like kind of has a similar Marvel vibe to it. Like there's like I guess X-Men art. That's, if you read any of that stuff, it's similar there, like the current stuff. But also like the storytelling, like the dialogue, the plot, everything is of a quality that, like, yes, a younger reader can enjoy, but like absolutely, this I feel like we're more in mind when those things are written than anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Read the comics, check out TLDR. Maybe take out your action figures and start flipping heads around again back in the old days. But maybe don't watch some of the source material there, the original stuff there. So
yeah.
I like where your head's at.
Where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly. Keep it in your memory where it's still nice and rosy and golden here. But I do. We may be 15 points up, but like I said, I like the analogy that we're both voting the same way. Just might be more on the extreme far left, alt right, depending on where you want to take this here, right? I probably have. I'm probably rioting in the streets somewhere trying to get the cause out that how much this movie is bad, and you're probably just quietly hanging a sign on your suburban front lawn.
You really leaned into that. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. A lot of people do like to put freaking signs in their yard. I don't get it, but
it's great one way or the other. I mean, no matter how you look at it, it's great. It's like you see like Trump still won signs, and it's like 4 years later. It's great, just like flying high and proud. It's funny, and then you get the Ukraine stuff going everywhere too. So it's like it's everywhere you go.
Everywhere. It really is everywhere you go, and it doesn't matter where you are. There's always a rain, which blows my mind. But
yeah, flags. People love their flags,
I guess. Oh, jeez. I just remember I'm used to just seeing Portuguese flags floating around everywhere. That's what I grew up with.
Oh, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah. I like a good Massachusetts. I love a good states flag too.
Oh,
because you don't see those too often.
I don't have any other good flags. Flag talk is definitely not my strength.
No, you're not a what about you're not a Union Jack guy. What's the Confederate flag? You're not a Confederate flag guy?
Oh, Jesus.
I've been to your apartment before. I saw what was in the bathroom.
Oh my God. I tell you what, like that when that started becoming a thing, I was like, what?
Yeah, you're just a collector of Nazi propaganda, for the history aspect of it, for no other reason,
Was that Schilling? Is that
I think that was Schilling. Yeah. I mean, among many others, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, but that was like the public one. Yeah.
Yeah. But enough about Civil War history, Nazi propaganda, all
trying
that
to make
good
Nick
stuff
feel
here.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think I achieved that here.
Yeah,
but let's morph on over to the exit survey, shall we?
It's morphin' time.
There we go. Thank you. First of all, let's start with a softball here. Let's go under toss, a little soft toss here to warm up the elbow. What would your color animal combo be if you were a Power Ranger?
I think, wolf is always like the animal that I say I like most. So
strong.
Yeah, I would probably go with white wolf. I want to go gray wolf, but there's you don't have gray Power Rangers, right?
But you could though. I think you could make your own, right? So you could be, that would be a new suit. I think a gray wolf would be nice.
Oh, okay. Then I go gray wolf then. That's mine for sure. Thank you.
I like that. So my first thought was a black or brown wouldn't work. Brown wouldn't work here, but a bear. So
Yeah.
black bear, black uniform, something like that, or white bear, white polar bear, with a white suit, something like that. So I think that would be kind of cool. Golden lion. Surprised they didn't use a lion at all.
Yeah.
At all.
That's
At no
well.
point in time. They did 2 lizards.
Yeah. There's oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Tyrannosaurus and they had a
And the
ton of lizards.
dragon.
What are we talking about? Yeah. You had pterodactyl too. Isn't that kind of a lizard too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dinosaur, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well.
speaking of lizards, green crocodile. If we're gonna go that route, crocodiles, they're real fierce. I think you could get a cool helmet out of that.
Yeah, that would be a cool helmet actually. But like this also brings up like when actually kind of leads into our next question. Like there's like you're talking about like why didn't they use certain animals? But first, did we need this? Did you want this? Like where do you stand on all of it?
Oh, no, we didn't need it. I understand it's the 30th anniversary special, which was lost on me until after I watched this because that was like what are we doing here? But did I want this? Oh, kind of. But after seeing the product, no way. I like the idea of it on paper, being like, all right, let's bring back some of the original cast members or people from the other shows that were a little bit past my prime, and get them all back and kind of see how it works. But God, they weren't good actors as kids, and there's a reason why they didn't get much work after.
Yeah, I wanted this once it was announced. I was like, great, this is gonna be fun. This is cool, and I thought like this is a way to improve on a lot of stuff. I think your whole notion of like making fun of some of the campiness and everything, yeah, that could have been great too. But hard to say like we needed it with the way it was done. Like if we loved it, then I would have said, yeah, of course we needed it. Yes, of course. But
Right.
no, the way it's like it is fair to like what the original stuff was, but at the same time, like there's no reason we couldn't have just blew it out of the water and made it infinitely better. Because I know like Saban probably looks at this and it's like, oh, this is a chance to bring in like the younger view. The parents are going to watch this with their kids, and we already have some kids interested in Power Rangers, and now like this is more of the same like level of quality, except it's probably better visually now than even the stuff that we're getting. They get week to week from the shows, but so yes, stuff was probably accomplished, but the thing is, Wes, too, when you talk about like why did they have lion, why didn't they have crocodile, and you brought up like Rita Repulsa's character, how you didn't know she was like of Asian descent, that footage, like the Rita Repulsa stuff and all the Power Ranger stuff from a certain point, and I think in some of the other shows too, that's like stock footage from overseas.
Yeah. I think Netflix has shows that made us, toys that made us, something like that from that
they said
series
it there.
that
That's
talks
right.
about that. Yeah.
Yes, they said it in there, and I don't remember if I learned that there or just or shortly before, but that was like a mind blowing thing for me. I had no idea. It makes perfect sense once you say it, but I was like, shit, well, that kind of sucks. But at the same time, like they made it work. So,
But and again, like part of I think why it kind of kept that lore for us, as well as just kind of sweeping the nation and kind of like taking all of America's youth by storm in the early 90s is that campiness. And you can kind of tell that it's like got a Godzilla type of vibe where that it's like filmed with like a wooden or cardboard backdrop of a city. It's like everything looks very cheaply made. And again, there's bad CGI here. There's bang, it's all and that stuff I can live with. That I don't care about that. I think that kind of speaks to like playing on the campiness, right, of it all, and kind of the corniness of it all. But where you're saving all that money and reusing found footage or low CGI or whatever, not having to worry about having great supporting effects, make up with it with something else. Pay the writers a little bit more to have a good story, or I don't know, pay for Billy Yost to get some acting classes in under his belt. Like I'm not sure, but there was, it was a tough watch.
Yes, it was. It's but again, like it's if you like the only reason that I'm not like as like, whoa, this is rough as you are is because I rewatched some of the old show and it's like this is just this more of the same.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite helmet of the Rangers? Kind of going back there, what was your favorite one to see?
I think so. I've gotten a greater appreciation from the comics for Trini. They've done a lot more with her, and that's probably because obviously the character was only around for so long. So I kind of got a greater appreciation for that, and they have Aisha in the comics now too. But the Dragon Zord, I mean, like that the Dragon helmet, I've definitely flip-flop over the years. It definitely was a White Ranger fan more in the past, White Tiger, but I got to pick a side. I like both, don't get me wrong, but I got to go right now. I'd say Dragon, like of these like original.
Now the dragon was the Green Rangers.
Yes, Green Ranger. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm with you on that. It was the Mastodon Black Ranger. I love the helmet with the musk or the husks. No, tusks.
Tusks. There you go.
There we go. Husks of corn, tusks of woolly mammoths, right? But them coming down to the visor, I thought that was very cool. You know, I like the open mouth of the dragon or the T-Rex. Or there's another one there. Maybe the saber-toothed tiger is cool too, because you get the teeth coming down there over the visor. But the pink ranger is the one that bothers me the most, because I know it's the pterodactyl, and you have the pterodactyl kind of coming down on the bridge for the nose, but it gives it kind of like a bug-eyed look, which freaks me out. I'm not a fan of that.
That's fair.
The white tiger, white ranger one, I mean, that was just a top-notch suit, top-notch helmet.
Yeah, 100%.
Top-notch a lot of things, but I do like the saber-tooth tiger as their best Zord.
Yeah, it is pretty kick-ass. We didn't. Yeah, that I think that would probably get my top rating,
because the T-Rex would be, a little too like not robotic, but not as mobile, not as tactile. I feel like it's a bigger target. And
is it the Triceratops and the Mastodon that both just roll, kind of?
Yeah, they're more like tanks.
Yeah, exactly. That tanks is a good way to put it. Yeah, I agree.
So I think going back to the color and animal combo, I think the green crocodile could be a nice balance to the group, because then you would have, you have a flying plane with the pterodactyl. You have a speed runner and the saber-tooth tiger. You have the tanks there with the mastodon and the triceratops, and then you got like your overall leader and the T-Rex. But the green crocodile could be like a submersive. What are those things, like a duck boat type of thing that can go amphibious vehicle? That's what I'm saying. Can go underwater, can go on land, but it will be very low to the ground, tough to pick up. And then it can lean up almost like an inverse clock of a Captain Hook's clock, and go into a leg.
You know what's
megazord. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also I just thought of like too. I saw like a video online like today, like of crocodile or an alligator, like how they float in the water. They actually, their head stays floating, but their body goes completely underneath. I never knew that.
Oh, I didn't know it went down like that. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
right?
That's creepy.
Yeah.
So it's like on its hind legs almost. Wow.
Yes, but it's floating. It's just So I don't know, man. I've seen way too many alligator and crocodile videos recently too. It's Twitter accounts.
Yeah, they got pushed up in my feed too recently. That I get that as well. I just saw a video today of a guy like sticking his head, like resting his chin, and he had the roof of the alligator's mouth like resting underneath his chin. And then while the mouth was fully opened, he stuck his hand in the middle and was able to pull it out and pull his head back in the time that the alligator snapped its jaws.
Why?
And like, why, man? Also saw another video last week of a great older American man saving his puppy dog from getting attacked by an alligator. It was a smaller alligator, but like ripped it open, ripped open like pried the jaws open.
That is I feel a lot differently about that one. That's awesome. Like
that's great.
That's amazing.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do to protect your own, But like that's some scary shit.
Yes, it is.
You ever see this one video? We're getting completely side railed here, but there was some video of a drive-through safari. So you're in your car and it's all open range, right? And there was a woman. The way that the video was set up was that the woman was in an argument with a guy. They got into some fight. She gets out of the car, and then gets taken by either like a lion or a tiger. They were in like that part of it. And the mother, who was in the backseat, or another woman, comes out, not the guy that she was fighting with, not the boyfriend or husband, but the mother was in the backseat, goes to grab her daughter, all grown adults in this, and she gets taken.
Jeez.
Yeah, and end up in like, I'm reading the comments trying to like find out what else happened, and it's like they're both dead. And it's like, Jesus, man. So ipso facto, don't get out of a car when you're in a free range safari.
Yeah, I can't believe that. Wow.
Again, I don't know. It's all context, right? But you're seeing like a closed circuit TV video.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that explains it. Okay. Because I was like wondering why like
There's
that's
no
even videos.
sound or anything. Yeah.
Well, that's terrifying. Okay. So no
Yeah, yeah,
Safari.
but yeah. So then now let's get back on track here.
It's morphin' time.
All right. What was the most rewatchable scene of this movie, or was there one?
That's a great question, Wes. Honestly, I think we're both in agreement on like the end credits and the tribute, like because it's like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
old show, and then paying respects to the late Jason David Frank and the late Trang. I don't know how to say Trini's name, and I
Trini.
apologize.
Yeah,
But
we'll go with Trini on that one. Yeah.
other than that, like every time they morph, like I still kind of got chills from that. Like even like what like when they were showing using like the old like background and
Mastodon,
everything. Yes. Yeah.
pterodactyl,
hmm And then
triceratops.
the other thing that was one of my favorite things was from a friggin' one of the trailers, which is a terrible, terrible sign. Like, yeah,
I
you can
know.
still like that stuff. Don't get me wrong, but when it's one of your favorite things coming out of it, it's like, you know, unless that's usually not a that's not always that's generally not a good sign. But that explosion with the first six Rangers running when they're
Hmm.
fighting Rita originally, I was like, oh, this is great. And then now, but like, and I was like, this is like the old vibes that I remember and that I like, and I'm here for this. And they're gonna lean into this more. And then we got what we got.
No, it was great because I thought I know remember that exact point because that was very early on in the movie, and you see all six Rangers in the flashback. I think Billy's talking about it, right? It's Billy's flashback there, and you see
Billy
Tommy
him
the
or
Green
Billy
Ranger.
me?
Yeah, there we go. We needed that sounder today. That's what we should have done. Uh, you have all six Rangers there, and you see Tommy, and I'm like, the Green Ranger. Oh my God, we're getting this so early, and then like immediately he's off the screen. You know, obviously he wasn't going to be there, but I thought there might have been some more or something like that. So I felt like I got my expectations let down a little bit after seeing them so early in it, and then seeing how the rest of the movie played out.
Well, there, I'm going to save some of the Green Ranger talk because there is like stuff to talk about there. Like when we get to what aged the worst from this movie.
Mm.
But what do you think? What do you think is going to age the best?
Well, yeah, I mean, you touched on it, right? The theme song, the power up montage there. I think those things still age like a fine wine. I got it as my background right now.
Mm.
Quite literally, Walter Jones
Oh yeah,
looks great.
yeah, he does.
Doesn't really look much older than what I remember him from way back in the day, 30 years ago. So,
Agreed. Yep.
pretty cool. The sounds the putties make and the putties overall, big fans.
Yeah,
Just
I appreciated the joke. They still sound like angry turkeys.
yeah, exactly.
Kind of sound like an I Can Go Time Machine too. Actually. Oddly enough.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I like that. Good call, Nick. Only 55 minutes. It's good under an hour. You can't beat that. If I'm gonna
Yeah.
waste any time, do it as little as possible.
When that's when that's one of the things that
Yeah.
brought up when we talk about what will age the best worst or the best it's not great. Paying respect to Trini, like
Mhm.
I understand how like we were there more for like the nostalgia and the member berries and all that stuff, and we weren't necessarily there for why am I blanking on the daughter's name right now? What
Ming.
Ming. While we weren't necessarily there for her, like having so much be around that character. Obviously, she like she passed away when she would like. I don't know if she came off the show and then I think it was like a car accident, or if it was like she
Yes.
got in a
Yep.
car accident and then because that she couldn't be on the show anymore. I don't know the timing of it all, but
I
obviously
think
very
she
sad.
passed away. I have it in here. I think she was off the show. She died
Okay.
in a car crash in 2001 at 27
Oh.
years old, a member of the 27 Club, and she was
Oh, geez.
with another woman who wasn't wearing a seatbelt too. Ended up being paraplegic, permanently
Uh,
paralyzed from that. So it's definitely
terrible.
a horrible thing. I think that was in the San Francisco area,
So.
but a little bit of internet research there. So I think by 2001 she had to be off the show, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So like so it was like nice that they paid the respect to her. Obviously, the way when this was filmed, like Jason David Frank was still like could have been in this, but like well, that's all I have for Will Age the Best from this movie, other than like the power up stuff. Like, yeah, they did the putties, like they're one of the few campy things that still translates. And I will say the Bulk and Skull shout out. I did really like
Mm,
that too. I thought
yeah.
you would appreciate the wording that they had. Is it don't like use your skull, buy in bulk.
There we go. I like
Yeah,
that. There we go. Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, this might be the fun part here. What do you think will age the worst from this movie? I'll take David Yost.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was really bad overall. The acting, again, just by everybody involved, it was very tough. Like they were just reading lines. There's one scene early on where Zach and Billy are trying to discuss how are they going to tell Ming about Trini dying.
Mm.
And like,
Yeah.
you have to tell her, we have to tell her that she's a ranger. No, you can't tell her that she's a ranger. Then like a second passes and they go into the screen and it's Ming coming in who just hears everything. You can't tell her that she was a ranger and died by Robo Rita Repulsa, that then she's going to want to be a Power Ranger. And then like, it just spells out everything for you right there. So
Yeah.
that was very tough. I'm also a huge fan of training montages, except for this one. Trini doing all her leg kicks and everything, and then she has the sticks that she's kind of hitting on the board at one point or on a dummy and trying to train. She's like all upset that no one won't let her be a Power Ranger. It's laughably bad. Laughably bad.
It was. I mean, it's like it felt like the old show, sure, but it's like, why couldn't we have tried to improve on some of that? So I don't know what I will say this, like for that actress, she was definitely like on the same. She was doing like captured the same vibe as everybody else. It just didn't.
That's all right. I liked that. That's a good spin on it. That she picked up the vibe of everyone else and was like, if this is how we're acting, maybe this is her first role. She's like, all right, this is how the pros do it.
That's the only thing that can really be said. I mean, but yeah, like from a right, like, and look from the plot standpoint too, like when you, like, because you're right, like when it comes to the dialogue, I was just like, what, and again how it was delivered, but like the plot, it's like, yeah, okay, like this is what the Power Ranger stuff should be. That's fine. It's just like the dialogue of it, and again the acting. But for me, I think a lot of this could have been forgiven by me is if we had the three main Rangers in the mix. And look, obviously, the late Jason David Frank was, it's awful what happened. Still, like, I still think about that randomly. Obviously, I read the comics and stuff too, and I have like the, Lord Draken and stuff around my place. So I do like there's stuff that would make me think of him. So like obviously, but at the same time, he could have been involved in this. I think Amy Jo Johnson has said as much, and then her not being involved, and then why am I drawing a blank on the Red Ranger? Austin St. John.
Austin St. John, yeah.
Austin St. John not be like, I think Austin St. John has done stuff with like other Power Rangers things like in the past. Like he was like a was it a Black Ranger or was it Gold Ranger? But it's like primarily wore black. I don't know. But
there was a black and gold. I remember I had that toy.
Yeah. I had that one. Yeah, so he was that, and then he was something else. I think too. Him and Tommy, I think were, or like Jason and Frank were around the most over the years, and then it was like probably Billy and maybe Kimberly. But even then, so the point is, you don't have those three in the mix. They're around. It's like and then the way you use it at the beginning, it was just so like. It felt so forced the way they did it.
I agree with you. Not having the three main Rangers, and then also centering the movie around, what was arguably, at least in my opinion, the two least popular Rangers in the Blue and the Yellow Ranger at the time, right?
No, they were.
I felt like
they were.
I felt like it was, green, red, black, and pink in some sort of order there, right?
100%. You like if you had Jason or Amy Jo Johnson or Jason David Frank, like a lot is going to be forgiven there. Like I'm telling you right now, I know that would have instantly gave it like 10 more points. I wouldn't have cared. Like so we get those three, like that's awesome. Like let's go. But yeah, so that was bad. And then to go with that too, when we lose, Kimberly, Jason, and Tommy at the beginning, and then Billy and Zach bring in the other two Rangers. They mention Jason, they mention Kimberly, they don't mention Tommy. It is not until the second Pink Ranger, who is actually Tommy's wife, until they bring her in, does Tommy actually get mentioned by name. And then on top of all that too, hey, I get it, like stuff's going on, and this would have been like an episode focused around the Black Ranger and the Blue Ranger and then the new Yellow Ranger. But at the end, like the Green Ranger's just not there as they're doing that. They're at the juice bar and like they're doing this whole thing. Green Ranger's not there. Red, pink. It's just like we all understand why we did it or they did that, but it's very weird. Like they just didn't handle these obstacles or these developments and making the show that well.
Well, this goes into some unanswerable questions. Maybe we'll try to answer them here. How did this get made? One is just overall, but we know it's the 30th anniversary special, so that seems to kind of fall in line. But you were wondering, where's Jason? Where's Austin St. John in all of this here? Now I believe you're correct that he's still kind of involved with the Power Rangers and kind of around the fandom, much like Jason David Frank was. And I think he has some sort of like fandom company. So he has been under house arrest since May of 2022 for his involvement in defrauding the government and the COVID CARES Act. So where they're giving out all the money to help small businesses throughout COVID. You're able to get these loans that you didn't have to pay back. That's essentially what it was. So a bunch of people got caught up in this sort of fraud of starting fake LLCs and that sort of thing, or asking for more money than maybe they were entitled to. So he's kind of falling under this wayside. So as of May 2022, he's been under house arrest. And if he's found guilty, this case is still ongoing. He faces up to 20 years in prison. So,
well, this is, I mean, maybe we've talked about it on the show before, but I did not know any of that.
No, I didn't either. It took a quick Google search because much like you, I'm like, all right, why didn't these people have any involvement? Did they just read the script and they were like, this is bullshit, or I don't want to be involved in this. I'm an adult. I kind of got that idea from Amy Jo Johnson that she was like, just wants to move on from that Power Rangers part in her life. I don't know.
The vibe I got is that she just didn't like the money, because she's writing a Power Ranger series for Boom Studios right now.
She is. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like, well, it's not out yet, but it's gonna come out at some point in the near future. But yeah, so like, I think she said, like, she tweeted out, like, it's not that I said no. I think I said no to the amount of money that they wanted me to do it for. Which, hey, like, I mean, I get that. It sucks. But like, again, how can you, like, and obviously Jason David Frank, right? He passed. It was back on November 22nd. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, obviously it looked like he couldn't have been involved, but she's since tweeted, like, we both didn't want to do it or whatever. So to not have both of them in it, those were, having Jason would have helped, but obviously you can't with what's going on with him. But I mean, having Kimberly or Tommy in this would have, like, just one of them would have made up for so much.
Yeah. But obviously with what happened with Jason David Frank, you wonder about maybe his headspace going into it.
Sure,
where was his mind and all that leading up to it, right? So
great point.
Yeah, maybe just wasn't prepared to do that there. But that's interesting about Amy Jo Johnson, because the one note that I had is that she's reprised her role only once since the '97 Turbo Power Rangers movie. And that was the cameo in the 2017 reboot Power Rangers movie. So I think she made a small cameo there.
Jason David Frank alongside her in that cameo as well.
Yes, as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, and that movie wasn't like very well received. I thought it was fine. Like, again, knowing what the old Power Ranger stuff was, it's like I know we loved it as kids, but you've now gotten a reminder what it was like. But to see them in it was very cool. But yeah.
Yeah, and if you were wondering about why it was Rita Repulsa, a Robo Rita Repulsa, not the original, the actress died at 68 in 2006. And as you mentioned, Asian footage, right? Old footage that was reused from there. So I don't think she was an original actress, or maybe she was. I don't know.
I don't think she was like playing Rita. She was not playing Rita Repulsa. Like, that's like I forget the company. Like they said it in that in that
documentary. Yeah. Okay.
Which, by the way, actually, like, this is kind of a thing that would like age well. I think turning the Rangers into toys.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was a meta thing that I really, really appreciated, because that's the bloodline, the blood of this and they were the legit toys. I remember they did, like, zoomed in on a close up on them, and I was like, no, this is the real deal Holyfield. I don't think they were the dolls. No,
the large toys, but I think they were the 6-inch or whatever, 7-8-inch figurines.
They look like 6-inch, 8-inch, yeah, for sure. But they just probably I don't think they had like a lot of points of articulation, I think was the only thing. But yeah, not to get too into the weeds.
Yeah, and we're a good judge of 6 to 8 inches, right? Pat.
Yeah. You're on fire today. So, but
I'm drinking a lot of coffee recently. Yeah, so I'm really buzzing.
Oh yeah, you got to be now. But along the lines of what you asked, why were the 3 most popular Rangers? I feel like, we've answered the Jason question.
Yeah. But everyone else, and then again, the Jason David Frank, that makes sense there. Amy Jo Johnson, if it was a money issue,
Yeah.
that seems to be answered then.
I get okay. Here's the unanswerable question: how did you find the people who made this? What made you think that we can still do this without all three of those characters, the three leading characters in this? How can we make this and be really really successful without it? And look, in the end, hey, it's getting a 90-92 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Young kids are like who kind of like the new Power Ranger stuff. They'll be introduced to this and they can watch all the old stuff and they'll probably buy these figures too. So hey, it could be a huge success. This is one of those instances where it's like, what do we know?
And it could be a bottom line financial issue here because we know Zach Walter Jones left the show because of being unfairly paid. I think there was a pay dispute there. So they bring in Adam to be the new Black Ranger there. So I'm Billy, right? I'm sure that he wasn't, I mean, he stuck around for so long. I'm sure he ended up making good money. He was in pretty much every TV show and movie, right? Around the Power Rangers. But, so I think if you have the two or three, like maybe people who are paid the least of the group, then maybe that's not going to be like, it's more money in your pocket then.
Yeah,
if you're a producer or creator of the show,
and having the Rita voice too is helpful. That makes a difference too.
Hey, and I don't know, we're talking about things getting caught up in your feed recently on Twitter. I mean, I get all this AI music. We talked about this a little bit last week about like AI generated music, and it gets pretty good. I don't know if I've heard like Drake songs with The Weeknd that are completely AI generated, but it sounds just like them. So maybe what they could do is take like, all right, have an AI machine learning technology that absorb all of Rita Repulsa's voices, right, and words that she says, and then you're able just to spit out new words based on everything that she said in the show.
Well, it's the same voice actress. It's not so they were
fine. So the actress who played Rita Repulsa. I got you.
Oh,
okay.
That's
I
the
was,
one.
I was confused.
That's the person you cited before is the person who does the actual voice. Okay, my mistake. The voice is like still with us. The voice is the actual voice from when we were kids.
All right, I was all screwed up then. Okay. I was thinking the actress actually did the voice.
No, the actress that we see on the show is voiced over. And again,
dubbed, right? That makes
dubbed
sense.
over. Yes. And I think Bozo actually did that dub too. But it's not. It's like so that actress I think is no longer with us.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, yeah, we got confused there. Shit.
I know we got a little bit of a pretzel, but we got out of it okay. Who had the best performance by a side character?
It's Alpha. That's it.
It's Alpha 9. Yeah. Yeah.
No one. I mean, like the only. You can say, like Rocky was the kind of a side. He was a side character in this, but he was in it so much. And so was Kat. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's Alpha 9 for me. And Robo Rita Repulsa had nice seeing some of her and her cone titties again. That was cool.
They did a good job explaining all that. Like what went on with Rita. I will say that was like of the things that they did right. Like we see this weird face. They poke fun at it, and then they're like, "Why is it like how did this happen?" So
did she really come from a space dumpster? I don't remember that in the show. That's okay.
I didn't remember them calling it a space dumpster, but that thing was like that. They used the right thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who lost the movie, Nick? And do we have enough time to get through everyone here?
I think people who lost out are people like us who are fans of Kim, Tommy, and or Jason.
Yeah, or just fans of the show. My reputation as a fan of the Power Rangers, or my pristine view of it from my childhood perspective, a little bit tarnished there. That's like, finding out Santa Claus isn't real, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. When I watched the old show a long while back, I remember talking to my dad, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know how you guys like survived all this." He's like, "Yeah, it was pretty rough."
But wow. It's like you go back and watch Rugrats, and it's like clearly for kids, but there's some humor in it, and you get it, and it's kind of like smart and clever. And there's like other things, Boy Meets, other things that you get obsessed with. Pokemon even kind of makes sense too, right? But like you watch, there's just no rhyme or and like to know that this swept the nation with like such fervor and veracity, like that. It's kind of crazy.
It really is like. And hey, look again. I still like love the old characters, and that again, the comics have really been great for that. In the mobile game too. I think there's actually a game for like like Xbox and PlayStation as well. But anyways, for who won the movie, I'm still gonna say that Saban won the movie. Like, they're
He's
gonna
cashing checks.
they're gonna continue to make money off toys. You're introducing kids now who whatever they're watching, they're getting to see the old stuff that their parents love. Like they're absolutely getting to see this. Like if I had kids that were old enough, I would show them this. I still might introduce my kids to the old Power Rangers, like because I absolutely loved them, and why not?
Mhm.
So they'll make money off it.
Yeah, for sure. I would say those, even Austin St. David, who we've just found out was under house arrest and may go to prison for 20 years or 10 years. Those who passed on making this movie so that their legacies would remain untarnished. I think maybe going to jail for defrauding the government is a better look for your reputation than maybe being in this movie. He went for it, you know. He
I
went
guess
for it, which
so,
is more
yeah.
than what I can say for a lot of the actors in this movie.
Say, guys, I'm sorry. I got this other thing going on. I can't. I'm out. I can't.
Yeah.
They didn't say no to him. He said no to them.
Yeah, and of course, yeah, we don't want to make light of any situation or speak ill of the dead here, but I think those, Jason David Frank, Trini there, they all saw the writing of the wall and be like, no, I got to get out of here. This is the deal.
Oh, jeez, yeah. Trini was 2001, but whatever. Yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah.
No, she even then, good foresight. That was a premonition on her end. I got to go. Rita Repulsa, even she tried to, and they brought her back from the dead in robot form. She's a zombie. She couldn't even get away from it.
I don't even remember the stuff that went on in the old show, like how she was there. But yeah, I was, the other thing is too, like when I thought the timing, like all jokes aside, I thought the timing when like it came out right after like in Jason David Frank's passing, right? I think was when it was announced. And then Amy Jo Johnson said like, oh, I assumed, okay, he passed and he couldn't be involved. This sucks because like this is his character. I don't know how much else he did. I know he did professional MMA a little bit, but like I don't know what else
how
he did
people know him.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Right. So then when she said like they both didn't want to do it, and like for her it was the money, like, well, wait a second. If Jason David Frank said no to being Tommy for anything, something's wrong. Like, something didn't go like, and I at the time I didn't really think about it that way. I was like, oh, that's weird. That's surprising that he would like didn't want to be. Maybe it was just
that's a good
money.
point. Yeah,
but it's like, oh, if he didn't want to be involved, it's like, shit.
Yeah, and part of me thought like they were almost like capitalizing on his death in a poor way. That's because I didn't know about the involvement, and just the timing of it was so close to everything. Like you said, from when it was first announced to his death, and then they made the movie, in some ways out of respect for him. So I was wondering if they were just trying to like maybe pull on the heartstrings of America, but that wasn't necessarily the case. But that was my cynical way of viewing it early on.
But you're not far off, Wes. Like, I'm not saying that the people who made this movie necessarily deserve that, because like at the end of the day, like, they did all this stuff for Trini. If them not doing that for Jason David Frank just again proves like he could have been involved with this if he wanted to. He chose not to. But like there were people when he passed, like I remember like hearing from people who like worked in toys or worked in toys in the past, like there were people who still work in toys and stuff that jacked up a ton of prices on stuff that were Jason David Frank, Tommy Oliver, Green Ranger, whatever related. So it's like you're not wrong. There were a lot of people that did some messed up stuff. It's just I don't think
bad opportunist, right? They're everywhere. You can't avoid them there. But that concludes the Power Rangers Once and Always exit survey. So Nick gave it a 65. I gave it a 50. What's quick math there? That's what do we got?
57.5, I think.
Oh, I love it, Nick. Quick on your feet, much quicker than I am. 57.5. Maybe the lowest reviewed movie of the year. Did we do something else that was badly reviewed? I thought.
Well, of this that came out this year, yes, but we did the Mario Brothers.
Mario Brothers movie, correct? Yeah. So this is probably our worst movie of the year. I think we can say that pretty safely. So 57.5. Power Rangers Once and Always and Never. Never again.
Yeah.
But now everyone got to get your